Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Got a video today from AllAsianDilemmas.
In China, when a man is cheated on, he practically has no choice. Either he's humiliated by society, or he accepts the betrayal in silence and waits for the dust to settle. Because
kind of get humiliated here in the United States. Women cheat on you and then call you narcissist and then break up with you and take 70% of your assets.
Today, if he divorces, it's very unlikely he'll find another woman. So in the end, this is what's expected of him. Whether the child is his or not, he still has to take responsibility, right? Isn't that just grinding an honest man into the ground and humiliating him?
Yeah, diabolical.
If things keep going like this, who would still dare to get married? This is absolutely terrifying, said a staff member from an identification center. Last week, out of 487 paternity test reports, 87 blood samples showed that 33 were not biologically related. Among 69 hair samples, 30 were not biologically related. Among 56 nail samples, 20 were not biologically related.
These are some high numbers. We're almost at like 50% here. 40-50% numbers here.
Related, and among 45 toothbrushes, 18 were not biologically related. In addition, among 57 cigarette butts, 26 were not biologically related.
50.
Of these cases, 141 tests were conducted online as judicial forensic examinations, and 11 were not biologically related. At that moment, among the couples present, 8 couples openly fell out and split on the spot.
I would assume
The
so.
others may have already anticipated the outcome. They said nothing, took the reports, and left. My God, hearing these numbers, I was genuinely stunned.
Yeah, but you're women. You never face these consequences that men do. Imagine raising kids that are not yours. I get just putting in that love, effort, attention, and time into another human being that you thought was yours, as in not own, but your own blood, your own child, and ended up not being it. Yeah, a lot of men end up losing their lives.
After my child was born, the hospital accidentally switched the babies. I'm telling you this from my own experience. Unless the two babies look very different, it's extremely hard to notice.
Yeah, I'm sure at a Chinese hospital, all the babies are gonna look pretty similar.
My baby had just been born and, due to some issues, was kept in an incubator.
Okay.
I was at home, recovering during the postpartum confinement period. His father went to the hospital every day to deliver breast milk. The nurses would bring the baby out for the father to see, and he would take photos and send them to me. But one day, when I received one of those photos, something felt very wrong. The baby in the picture didn't look quite the same as before. Still, newborns all look very similar, so I didn't dare to be certain. All I could do was compare the photos over and over again. In the end, it was the shape of the mouth that made me realize it. That baby was not mine. The nurse had picked up the wrong baby. I told the father, but he didn't believe me. He thought I was overthinking it, saying that the hospital couldn't possibly make such a mistake.
See, that's on him. Saying that the hospital couldn't possibly make the mistake. Really, bro? Really? Hospitals make mistakes all the time. That's why there's quite a bit of deaths in hospitals that weren't necessarily supposed to happen.
Even so, I insisted that he go back and ask. He rushed back to the hospital, showed the photos to the nurses, and pointed out that the baby's mouth shape was different. One nurse went in to check and said that all the babies were the same. In the end, it turned out that the morning shift nurse had carelessly switched the babies. Ladies, after giving birth, we usually have to stay.
See, it is such a rare instance for women to feel this and to experience this. It's through the baby swapping, which doesn't happen that often. But obviously the paternity fraud, yeah.
In the hospital for a few days and can't take the baby home right away. Make sure to clearly instruct your family members to keep a close eye on the baby at all times.
Honey, what's going on? Why didn't you insist on pulling me outside? Couldn't we talk about this at
在家里不好讲吗？
我想问一下，为什么咱们5个月就出生了？
5个月出生不是因为早产吗？
早产怎么有可能有7、8斤？
I want to ask you something. Why are our daughters born at 15 months? Jeez, 15 months. Wasn't it 5 months because the premature birth?
7、8斤是因为那个你把我补的，然后把孩子给补胖了呗。
The premature, how could a premature baby weigh at 3 to 4 kilos? Must be why you kept me all those supplements ended up fattening the baby, right?
那为什么跟我一点都不像呀？
那不是每个孩子。
Then why does she look nothing like me? Every child looks like their parents, right? Back to the point. Why are you asking me?
都长得像家长的嘛，对吧？话说回来，你为什么要问这个问题啊？
Bring up the DNA test, bro. The doctor told me to look into it. He said these genes don't look anything like mine. What else could it be? You are suspecting me behind... Are you suspecting me behind my back? That sounds weird. When you trust me at all, is that it? You don't trust me at all, is that it?
这是医生让我看的。
You are suspecting.
这是怎么回事啊？
Oh, gotcha. That kind of makes
怎么
sense now.
这个基因跟我一点都不像呀？
还能怎么回事啊？你还在背后查这种东西啊？
Sorry for my horrible reading skills, guys. Of course I'd check. She really doesn't look like me. So can it only be your fault? Only time you came back from being out, you liked buying genetically modified food for the child. Eating that stuff made her generally stop looking like you? What? Yeah, that makes sense.
一点都不信任我是吗？
Makes sense. So just eating genetically modified food makes you not look like your parents?
肯定的哦，肯定会去查一下嘛，跟我一点都不像哎。
That's how genes work, but you know.
那只能怪你每次在外面回来的时候，喜欢给孩子买转基因食品，然后把它吃了，基因就长得不像你了。
Right? Yes. So, honey, for our second child, we absolutely cannot eat that kind of stuff anymore. The gaslighting is real. I don't know if this is a skit or a show or whatever it is, but...
也对哦。
是吗？
对。
Honey, I'm sorry. I don't know that, right? I'm sorry. I was wrong. I'm sorry, honey. I don't ever do it again next time, okay? I'm sorry. I swear I never make this mistake again.
那咱们
Is he apologizing?
千万不能
So the gaslighting worked?
老婆，对不起，
你知道就好
对。不起，我错，对不起。老婆，
And now she has leverage because now she gets to be upset and he made the mistake?
我下次再犯。
Ah,
好不好？对不起。
千万不能再犯了。
25年，我们一共出了8200多份。
In 2025, we issued a total of more than 8,200 individual reports. The non-paternity rate was 22%,
damn.
meaning over 1,800 children were not biologically related. In several
Yeah, it's not a US thing, guys. It's a woman thing.
cases, both children in the same family were not biological. What left
At least here was 22%. In the US, we're looking at what, 33 to 40?
the deepest impression on me this year was that there were several cases involving military families in which the children were not biologically related. In one of these cases, the child's mother herself requested the test. When she learned the result, she was terrified. She asked me what she should do, and I told her that she would need to contact the child's biological father to talk things through. She said she didn't know who it was. I told her that apart from confessing the truth on her own, there was no other option. She said she would think it over carefully. What happened afterward is unknown. This year, there was also a case of babies being switched at birth. The child was already 10 years old, but in the end, the families decided not to pursue it further. The rate of samples mailed in by women is slightly higher, around 30%.
Yeah, because these women already kind of have an idea that this ain't their kids. So, damn, 33% amongst the women testing themselves or testing their own children?
Samples supposedly belonging to the father, such as toothbrushes, semen stains, and cigarette butts, are almost always sent in by the child's mother. There was one case involving a woman who first provided the child's father's toothbrush, but the result was negative. She then submitted a cigarette butt and a blood sample, and the results showed that the child was biologically related to the man associated with the cigarette butt. In the second half of this year, we changed our methods, and samples like drink straws became sufficient in most cases to conduct the test. In another case, a woman suspected that her husband had an illegitimate child. She hired a private investigator to stake out trash bins, collected many types of samples, and finally used a milk straw. The test confirmed that it was a boy and that he was biologically related to her husband. I also handled many...
Damn, I guess they can go that way too. I didn't even realize you can go that direction of just testing someone's DNA and seeing if they have any offsprings. What?
Investigation-related cases connected to official inquiries. As for tests conducted during pregnancy, more than 900 reports were issued, with a non-paternity rate of 42%.
42% of the women that were pregnant currently.
In most of these cases, the time gap between relationships was too short, making it impossible to be certain. In one case, the woman was already 7 months pregnant. The current husband came later, while the ex-boyfriend claimed it was a safe period, that protection was used, and that it couldn't be his. Still uneasy, the woman went ahead with the test. The results showed that the child was indeed the ex-boyfriend's. This proves that the so-called safe period is not actually safe. In total, more than 9,300 judicial DNA tests were conducted.
So court ordered?
Of which 32 showed non-paternity.
Oh, that's not that many. 900 and something and only 32? I'm not saying it's not a significant number. It's definitely not as high as I thought it would be.
These cases mostly involved children born out of wedlock, tested for household registration, and there had been no prior suspicion before the tests. When the results came out, many mothers were extremely shocked and struggled to believe the outcome.
但是吧，就是对方人不太行，当时也
More delicate, a bit younger, and I went to find a live-in son-in-law. Live-in son-in-law. That way, when the child is born, the child will belong to our family, you know? Once the child is born, they will definitely take our family's surname, not yours.
也是前段时间相亲认识的，就是因为怀孕，然后现在那个彩礼这方面有点问题，所以弄了点纠纷。
你们这个家庭条件也挺好的，然后你想找个什么样的？
我就想找一个老实一点、本分一点的，然后想找一个倒插。
So this is what I'm thinking is this. Since you will be a son-in-law who married into the family, it would be best if you take our surname. Son-in-law? Taking the surname? Okay. It's a whole thing now, guys, I guess. I can also take your family's surname and you can take ours. Does that work right? Okay, I'm going to the bathroom. Wait, what? He takes your family surname and you take his family surname? What? Then you guys don't have the same name still. What?
那这个孩子就是出生了也是就是给你们家这边。
对，这个孩子出生肯定是跟我们家姓儿，肯定不会跟你的姓儿，所以最好我想的是啊，就是因为你是上门女婿，最好也跟我们家的姓。
我也跟你们家姓。
对，你也跟我们家的姓。
行，那我先出去上个厕所。这彩礼是我上门女婿是怎么？
As for bride price, how should I put this? You should give our family 180,000 yen, and we would provide a car as part of the arrangement. You see, I'm an only child. I was raised very delicately, and I don't know how to cook, and I don't really know how to do housework. Useless.
你给我们家彩礼，给我18万8，然后我们会陪送一辆车。因为我吧，属于是因为毕竟是家里的独生女，属于娇生惯养。
I can't even imagine an Asian woman sitting in front of me negotiating bride prices and stuff and saying, I don't know how to cook and clean. I'm like, why are you even here?
不会做饭，家务我也不怎么打扫，所以上门女婿。
So the ideal live-in son-in-law would be someone who can do the household chores, cook, someone who knows how to take care of people. Well, normally we go out together, that's fine, but you have to report to me. You have to keep me informed at all times, okay? All right, then I'll go home and think it over.
最好就是会做家务，会做饭，会照顾人。
我要是平常跟一块儿的就出去待会儿这行了。
你怎么也得跟我说，你得时刻，你得给我报备吧。
行，那我回去考虑考虑吧。
鉴定至少有58%以上。
Isn't this much higher than you imagined? Let's look at a case. In Guangdong, a couple got married in 2002 and had a daughter. Due to the breakdown of their relationship, the two agreed to divorce in October 2019. Although the divorce seemed to put an end to everything, 2 months later, the man commissioned a local judicial forensic institution. A DNA paternity test was conducted on the child, and the results showed that the man was not the biological father. He then filed a lawsuit with the court, making 2 claims.
See, at least in China, laws are laws. You can actually file lawsuits against these things.
That the woman refund 39,000 yuan for the child support expenses he had paid, that she pay 50,000 yuan in compensation for emotional distress. So how did the court rule?
Let's see.
First, the court ordered the woman to return 20,000 yuan to the man as child support reimbursement.
Okay, so he got some money back, a little more than half.
Second, the court ordered the woman to pay 10,000 yuan as compensation for emotional damages.
What did he ask for? 50 or something? He still got something.
From this case, we can see that there are at least 2 legal remedies. The first is requesting the return of child-rearing costs paid during the marriage. The second...
I mean, it doesn't seem like you're going to get full amount, but at least you're going to get some. She has consequences.
...is claiming compensation for emotional distress.
I mean, makes sense. I had to take care of a child, worry about child support that wasn't mine, that I didn't have to worry about.
We should learn from this as well. As for this claim that paternity testing is banned abroad, I don't know where you got that from. Whether it exists or not,
Yeah, it is banned in France, unless it's court-ordered and approved by the mother.
Set that aside. Even if it really were banned, their way of thinking doesn't fit our reality. Abroad, is dating always paid for by the man?
Yes.
Abroad, does a man have to buy a house, a car, and also pay a bride price to get married?
No.
Abroad, does a man have to put all his money into the marriage? Does he have to empty his own mother's wallet just to afford a wedding? If you walk upright, you don't fear crooked shadows. Only people who mess around are afraid of being exposed. In blind dates, you make men pick up the bill, so why don't you talk about fairness? 380,000 yuan, a house, a car, furniture. 2 quilts, 3 wash basins. At moments like this, why does no one dare to talk about equality?
鉴定结果出来了，
The DNA test results are out. Neither of the 2 children are mine. They were reviewed by experts.
2个孩子都不是我的，专家看的。
准吗？专家看的。
肯定准呐！告诉你，离婚，肯定离婚。
I'm telling you, divorce, definitely divorce. Divorce it is. Then why are you yelling?
这离婚你喊啥呀？
She don't care. She used you for what she needed to use you for. You helped raise the kids this whole time. Now she gets to take a good chunk of your assets when she leaves.
大惊小怪。
告诉你，你把
Stop
2
making
个
a
孩
scene. I'm
子
telling you,
通
both
通给我
children.
带走。
All these cases are telling you the same thing. When you give someone security, what you're really giving them is leverage to control
True.
you. The moment anything goes wrong, neither the law nor morality will stand on your side. The law's discretionary power naturally leans toward the so-called weaker party.
True.
And who ends up being defined as weak?
Women.
Just look at who keeps labeling themselves as victims in the court of public opinion, and you'll understand. This is the moment you need to wake up. The so-called responsibility you carry doesn't buy you any rights in return. That's why the traditional provider model should be abandoned. The other party is not weak at all. They have arms, legs, and full capability.
True.
They don't need you to tilt resources toward them or give excessive privileges. Overfavoring women is, in itself, a form of discrimination.
Correct.
She chose to marry you of her own free will. She wasn't forced. And if it was a voluntary choice, then neither of you owes the other anything. We are all adults and must take responsibility.
That is actually a very good example, right? Like, or a good take on it. Like, you both agreed to this. That means we don't owe each other anything in a sense of Oh, because I married you, I owe you all this.
Responsibility for our own choices. From this, one clear conclusion follows. You don't need to pay a bride price, and you don't need to be the sole breadwinner. The so-called responsibility of supporting the family, and even less the idea of sacrificing yourself just to maintain a relationship, working like an ox or a horse, once seen as a man's duty in marriage, no longer makes any sense at all today.
It doesn't.
这周一共出了200。
There was a case from the week before last involving a father and child who were not biologically related. The first test used a toothbrush. The following week, he sent in a blood sample from the child. And when the result came out on Monday, it was still negative. After the results...
The man didn't even believe the first one. Didn't believe the toothbrush. Had to get the blood sample to make sure. This is how much men love their kids. You know, or actually care about their own offsprings.
Came out. He called me. His wife was also present, and they kept asking whether there had been any mistake. I told them there wasn't. They then discussed it and decided to do a judicial forensic test the next day. I asked them to come to us, but they wanted to go somewhere else. They said they would do the test on an expedited basis. On Wednesday night, I suddenly remembered to ask them about the result. He told me that even the mother and child test showed no biological relationship.
Oh, so this was a true baby swap one where both parents didn't know.
The hospital had switched the babies.
Gentlemen, after hearing these testimonies, it's easy to understand why this topic hits men so hard. Because
yeah, we get affected way more often than these women do. The whole child swap doesn't happen that often. The whole woman lying about paternity happens all the damn time.
Because it's not just paternity in the biological sense. It's trust, it's identity, it's dignity. And when you put everything on the table, stories of tests coming back negative, the absurd numbers being thrown around, couples falling apart right there at the lab counter, people discovering that even the mother and child match fails, and it turns out the hospital switched babies, you realize this isn't just one isolated incident, it's an entire ecosystem where truth becomes optional, appearances become the law. And what feels heaviest to me is the social logic behind it all. Because across these accounts, the message is always the same. If you question it, you're the villain. If you doubt, you're insecure. If you ask for proof, you're petty.
And you don't
if
trust
you decide to walk away, you're weak, immature, can't handle pressure. And that's where the modern cruelty kicks in. A man gets pushed into a corridor with no exits. On one side, public humiliation. How dare you leave? How dare you expose this? How dare you not take responsibility? On the other side, forced acceptance. Swallow it, pretend you didn't see it, wait for the dust to settle, because if you...
It's exactly like this, right?
Divorce, society punishes you again. And that's the part that enrages me. Even betrayal becomes something the man has to manage silently, as if the problem was never the betrayal, it was always his reaction. And when this touches the state and the legal...
That is the sad thing, right? We are judged by our reactions to the things that happen to us. Not all things are good things. And sometimes we don't react the best way, but they use it against us. This is why stoicism is so important.
Legal system, it gets even colder. Some cases show there can be legal remedies, recovering part of what was paid, claiming emotional damages, trying to correct what can still be corrected. But even when a legal exit exists, the psychological damage is already done, because what destroys a man isn't just the money. It's the feeling of having lived for years inside a lie, investing everything. Time, resources, mental stability, only to discover that responsibility bought you no rights at all. It only bought you more obligation. And here's my opinion. What these testimonies expose is the collapse of a model where a man is trained to be the provider of everything, while society reserves the right to question only the man when something goes wrong.
Right.
You support, you protect, you pay, you hold it together. But when the castle collapses, public morality doesn't ask who caused the collapse. It asks, why didn't you endure it? That's a trap. And if there's one thing I take from this video, it's this. Men need to stop trading their dignity for social peace.
Yes.
Because that peace is fake.
It really
lasts
is.
until the next crisis. And when the next crisis comes, the same strategy gets used.
He's so right? This is exactly, as soon as things go south or not the way women want, they still blame men. Either way, they're gonna blame men because that's their strategy.
Push guilt on you, shame on you, and silence into your mouth. So what's the practical conclusion? First, truth
away.
cannot be a taboo. If a test exists and it can prevent an even bigger tragedy, then society can cope. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear, and people who try to ban the truth usually aren't defending love, they're defending control over the narrative. Second, stop romanticizing male self-sacrifice as if it's automatically noble.
It's noble when you sacrifice for the correct things and the correct people.
Sacrifice without reciprocity isn't love.
Correct.
It's exploitation wearing a moral mask. Third, responsibility must come with rights and respect. If the rule is, you must carry everything, then that rule isn't justice, it's emotional servitude. And finally, I'll say what many people avoid saying, what's happening there, and, on a smaller scale, elsewhere too is a warning from the future. A future where relationships become one-sided moral contracts, where a man is valuable only as long as he delivers performance, money, stability, and silence. And the second he demands consistency, he becomes the aggressor in the eyes of society. So if you watched this and felt angry, good. Anger is a sign you still have a sense of justice. Just don't turn that anger into despair, turn it into clarity.
Yeah, no, I'm sure a lot of us get saddened by the anger and saddened by what we see. No. Use that information that we see and navigate through life better.
Clarity to understand that love without truth is theater. Clarity to understand that marriage without trust is roulette. And clarity to understand that dignity isn't negotiable, because once you lose that, you lose everything. And I'll end with a line that sums up this insanity in the bluntest way possible. So you're saying that whether the child is mine or not, I still have to take responsibility. Isn't that just grinding an honest man into the ground and humiliating him?
No, he's right. It is grinding an honest man to the ground and humiliating him. That's how most men see it, how most women see it, how a lot of society sees it. Especially the man that wasn't your first choice, that you kind of shit all over and mistreat. Yeah, we all see it. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. See you guys next time. Ciao.